welcome, Arturo.
Hi.
I'm Miss Val. I'm your social worker at KU High School. What brings you in to see me today?
I would have to say that I'm going through a lot of things right now. Primarily, my parents right now are divorcing.
Mm-hmm.
They're separated, and they both live together, but they're no longer together.
Yeah.
And that's, there's a lot of tension at home. My parents are, when I'm with my mom, she'll talk bad about my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and then it stresses me out.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm with my dad, it's the same thing. And look, like obviously I have to go to school, and I'm barely making it.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I am done with school and I come back home, I feel like I just want to sleep. I don't feel like going to the gym
Mm-hmm.
and working out, something I used to enjoy back then. I'm not doing my homework. I have no motivation to do my homework. I don't even want to hang out with my friends. I'm just feeling tense. I'm feeling stressed, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Can you remind me of your age?
I'm 18.
You're 18, okay. All right, before we get too much into it, I'm just going to let you know that everything you say in here is confidential. It will stay that way unless I feel like you're putting yourself or others at harm, or there is an abusive situation, because I am a mandated reporter. As long as we keep it cool, though, everything that we talk about does stay here.
Awesome.
I am just going to let you know, too, if it looks like I'm looking down at my paper a lot, I'm taking notes over everything, so don't think I'm not paying attention, because I am.
Sure.
Okay, so let's see. Kind of went over wired here. So the problem I'm getting at is that your parents are separating, kind of bad-mouthing each other, and it's starting to take a toll on you, school, motivation, everything like that.
Big time.
Big time. Okay. So I guess instead of focusing on more negative, let's focus on the positive. So what would you say some of your strengths are?
Well, for one, I would say that like one of the strengths is that like right now I feel like I have no one on my side. I feel like I have no one that understands me, and I feel like I'm just an overall happier person when I have someone that is willing to support me and like in essence like validate
you.
Exactly. And so right now I don't have that, but when I do, I just feel like overall happier. I feel more confident.
Yeah.
So, like I said, as long as I have someone that's supporting me, or I feel like someone's there for me, that's I feel great. I would say another one would be, oh gosh.
Well, before you get into that, let me ask you this. Do you feel lately like you've been distancing yourself from friends with all this going on? Or do you think lately you've been finding yourself leaning on them more?
No, distancing.
Distancing?
Myself big time, yeah, because they invite me to go places, and I like I said, I don't even want to go out. I just want to stay home.
Yeah. All right. Do you think that you more speak your mind, or do you close yourself off?
I feel like right now I'm definitely like. I feel like that's one strength I feel like I'm good at. I'm very open to communicating how I feel about myself, others, and my surroundings. So that's a strength right there that essentially ties up to the first one, that I don't feel like anybody is there for me right now.
Yeah. So you like to keep it honest with people.
Exactly.
Like if you're not validating me or you're kind of weighing me down, I like to let you know, because that hurts me in the end.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I guess today I don't want to focus on so much like an end goal, just because it is our first session, but maybe if we could think about like next steps on ways to maybe find ways to cope with your parents separating, because it sounds like it is completely taking a toll on your life, and at some point you do have to kind of get in there and work it out. So I guess just a couple things we could try, or even, try to work out, would be like the lack of motivation. So your parents divorcing is making it hard to go to school, hard to do homework, hard to work out, hard to sleep, all of that. So we do have a support group essentially here at the school with other kids that have gone through divorce, whether it's the process or they've been divorced for a while now. Do you think that's something you'd be interested in?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They meet once a week and they kind of just talk about kind of what's going on at home, how it's affecting them. And I think that would be really beneficial for you.
Sure, yeah.
Just to
it'd be great to meet people.
Especially since you feel like you don't have those friendships right now. I know a lot of kids don't have a ton of friends that have divorced parents.
Exactly.
You might not have someone to lean on.
Yeah, like I have my friends, but like not necessarily that they would understand what's going on.
Exactly. And every divorce situation is unique, and that's why it's so nice to have a group of people that even commonly share what you're going through, but in maybe different ways, and you can get different input, and even have them explain to you, this is how I started coping with it when I was going through it.
Right.
So I know you said you're getting no sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a good solution would be maybe to stay after school for an hour and try to get your homework done, maybe at the library or a coffee shop or somewhere that you're by yourself. You don't have to worry about your parents. You don't have to worry about, fighting or anything like that.
Because that's like, I feel like after school I get home and I sleep, and so when I wake up it's like 8:39, and then so I'm not tired, and so I stay up really
and you
late.
still haven't done all your homework.
And I still haven't done anything.
So
and I go to bed. I end up going to bed at like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Exactly, and I'm sure you can't turn your mind off.
No way.
So I think if you would just try maybe dedicating an hour right after school to getting all that homework done, and then by the time you get home it's dinner time, so you can eat dinner, and then maybe by then it's 7 or 8, and then that's when you just now be waking up.
Exactly.
So then you can try to train yourself to go to bed earlier, or even get in bed earlier, even if you can't quite turn your mind off. That way, you're not at least getting your homework done and trying to get that motivation, even if you're not falling asleep.
Okay.
So I think that would be a good start as well. And then, you're not working out anymore, and you said that's something you were very passionate about.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's fun. But I just
the motivation's not there.
Motivation is not there right now.
Well, I think that it would be nice to find different alternatives. Maybe, don't get so hard on yourself if you can't go 5 days a week, but maybe just try going 1 or 2 times a week for 30 minutes even.
You're right.
Or I don't know. Once weather gets nicer, walking home from school, even to get that exercise in.
That's a good point.
When you find yourself getting worked up or really stressed and you just feel like you're going to explode and you don't know what to do, you could try going to the gym and just even running on the treadmill for 15 minutes to get some anger out, because I know that things do get built up, and sometimes you feel so hopeless, like, how do I get rid of all this?
Exactly.
And I know it's a passion of yours, and you don't want to ever take that away, so just getting that out.
Right. And I have felt like a lot more stressed out ever since I stopped working out.
Exactly. So, I mean, any stress reliever is going to be good for you and beneficial at this point with your parents divorcing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess just to end things, do you think that your parents are bad-mouthing each other a lot in front of you?
A lot. That puts a lot of tension on me. Like, I don't want to have to hear my mom, talking all this smack on my dad.
Totally.
Because I love my dad, and he's a great guy, but I just don't appreciate when my mom does that, and vice versa. Like, when my dad does that, it just puts a lot of tension on me, and it's like they're trying to get me to side with one another.
Definitely.
When I'm with my mom, she wants me to side with her and listen to the stories of how bad my dad is, and like I said, the same way with my dad, and I just can't do that. I love them both, but I can't be in the middle of them and trying to hear their side to it.
Exactly.
It's just not at the end of the day, it's not my problem.
It's not your problem, and you're also, like you've mentioned, it's starting to take a toll on your life. You're not sleeping anymore, getting your homework done, no motivation.
Exactly.
So I feel like something to try would be the next time you see maybe your dad mouthing your mom, or vice versa, maybe just say, that it's taking a toll on my life when you talk about my other parent like that. Because at the end of the day, they are still both your parents. Remove yourself from the situation, whether it be go to your room, take a walk, like we said.
Take a walk outside.
Just get yourself out of that, because that's not healthy.
It's not. It's killing me.
Exactly, and it's not fair for you at the age you're at.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if it goes too far and those strategies don't work, to maybe sit them both down and just say,
let them know.
This is taking a toll on my life, and ultimately it's your separation, not mine. You know, you're saying they're both your parents, and it's killing you. So you might just have to sit them both down and let them know that what they're doing is taking a toll on your life.
One thing, I think the other thing, I'm not finding time, like I have no motivation to do homework, and I can't study at home at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
My parents, like the house is just full. I just feel the tension as soon as I'm there, and I can't do homework there. That's, I feel like, part of why I don't have motivation.
Not getting anything done.
There, at the house. So, like, what would you recommend for that?
So, I guess, just starting out, we could try the after-school homework thing, but as far as studying goes, I mean, obviously an hour might not be enough time to get everything done, but I would say it's a start, and, like, if you ever needed to stay longer or whatever, to just prioritize, I guess, is the best way.
Stay after school?
Maybe after school, even maybe before school, on a weekend maybe. I know there's public libraries that are open on Saturdays that you could go to.
Coffee shops. Coffee.
Exactly. Just stay as long as you need to get everything done, and just prioritize. Like, if you know, I have a huge math test coming up in 2 weeks, and I know that I'm never going to study at home because it's just too much. Maybe prioritize, like, for a couple hours this week I'm going to start studying so that I'm more than prepared for it when that time comes. And yeah, just finding time, and I know motivation is hard to find, but just finding that time and knowing that you do have other obligations outside of your parents' separation.
Right. Perfect. I am the only child. I do feel really lonely at home.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And like the tension is just all for me, I guess, because like I said, I'm the only child. But I'm looking forward to that group that you mentioned for here in the school, just to meet more people that kind of get what I'm going through, can relate to it. Yeah, and it's also nice sometimes to tell people who don't know you personally. I know sometimes you don't want to tell friends because if they come over to the house or something, they, it's kind of biasy. But so sometimes it's nice to just tell people your age that know what you're going through but don't know you personally too. Exactly. And don't have preconceived ideas of you or anything like that. So I think that will be really beneficial, at least to start out with, and some ways to cope, at least for now, until we meet again. Well, thank you so much. Of course.